Hello everybody and welcome to more Heroes of the Storm on the channel here. Today we have another best of 3 series. We're actually looking at the Top Shot tournament today and we have the match between Kappa and Fnatic. Fnatic with that new lineup, they got two more players. They have now also Wooby and Breeze in their midst, both of those who belonged before to Na'Vi. So we had a big switch there in the European scene, and Fnatic definitely has a lineup right now that is supposed to attack Team Liquid, who have been dominant of course on the European server for a long time, even though they had that upset just a few days ago against Na'Vi at the Road to BlizzCon. But right now we're having this best of 3 series between Kappa and Fnatic, and it starts off with a match on Dragonshire, where we have a double tank composition for Fnatic with Leoric and also two damage dealers that they're running here. Kappa, on the other hand, they decided to go down a very different path. They have two very good damage dealers in their midst right now with the Kel'Thas and then also an Azebo, so very good damage, especially in the late game when we have on level 16 Ignite and the Leaping Spiders. But they decided against a double front lineup, which is kind of the current meta right now. They only drafted Johanna and they're using two healer now to try and keep their setup alive. A little bit of an oddity here, I want to say, especially with that potential burst damage and stun that we are seeing on the side of their opponents. Those two healers might have their hands full trying to keep the setup alive. Normally when we had in the past a double heal lineup, it was oftentimes with a melee assassin next to the tank. Kappa is trying something different here, and we're going to find out in Dragonshire now if that's going to work. It's not going to be easy for them, I feel, but maybe they can take down Fnatic. So guys, game number 1 in the best of 3 series coming up right now. Alright everybody, welcome to game number 1 between Fnatic and Kappa. We are on Dragonshire and this is the first map in the best of 3 series here in the round of 8 at the Top Shot tournament. To the left side of the map we have Fnatic and they are running the Skeleton King on Lowell. Leoric is played by Fnatic here together with Anubarak, who's being controlled by Breeze. We have main on Jaina, Kaysil on Falstad, and Wooby on Uther on the support role. To the right side of the map, it's a double support that they are facing off against. Tomzi on Lily and Conti on Malfurion. Alistar is playing Azebo and Cypher is playing Kel'Thas here, so we have two very strong mage heroes in the back, and up at the front line it is the Escape on Johanna. So a very cool draft that we're seeing here. Well, actually, like in the middle of the lane, already everybody going straight for a quick battle here, except for Lily and Leoric, who are both up at the top. But this is a pretty interesting setup that we're now seeing, just because in this case it's a double warrior lineup on the side of Fnatic going up against the double healer setup for Kappa. And Kappa, in this case, I'm not quite sure if they really have what it takes to take down Fnatic here, because double heal is nice, but if you really focus down on the target properly with the stuns that we're seeing for Fnatic, then it should be pretty difficult to really out-heal all of that damage. On the other hand, then again, we have two very strong mage damage dealers for them. Kel'Thas is amazing, especially after 16, and we're also seeing Azebo in a very good position here as well. So it's going to be an interesting battle, and this is of course only the first map of potentially 3 that we're going to see here. Leoric on level 1 went for reanimation. There's a lot of builds out there for Leoric right now, but most of them really focus on reanimation on level 1. It is a very helpful talent, even better than Regeneration Master. Lowell is already up at the top lane, and Leoric can dish out quite some... You can put in the numbers, let's just put it like that. He can do a lot of siege damage, and he's also in a position where he can do a lot of damage against heroes. I like that, by the way. The money pick on Mena. Like, Mena is one of the few French guys that I actually like. Joking, of course, guys. Joking. Alright. Stay calm. No, but like, Mena is actually pretty cool. I'm really liking this color coordination here already. He is putting Jaina on the pick, and a guy who does that has definitely a sense of humor. And this is one of the few mounts. No, she's riding it side saddle. You gotta be joking, right? Even that, she is a girl riding in style here. Jaina not only riding the horse side saddle, nope, also the pig. Oh my god, how much class can you have? That's a girl after my personal taste right there. So at this point we're having not really too much happening in regards to kills. Now that we have the 2 minutes mark crossed off in the game, all of those mercenary camps appeared on the map, of course, and we're closing in on level 4 as well. Breeze is in the mid lane on his Love Beetle. We're seeing both of the shrines now under the control of Fnatic, so they're going to try and sneak a Dragonite at some point. Lily is starting with a bit of a focus for the Serpent build, Mending Serpent on level 4 here already. If you're looking at Malfurion, it's the extra damage against minions and mercenaries on level 1, and followed by a Loon's Grace on 4, which gives the extra range on your basic abilities, so he's able to stay in the backline and really help out his team here. Up to the top lane, Lowell still claiming this particular shrine. Conti, by the way, rotated over, so Lily is now helping out the team down at the bot lane and switched out. And it's a pretty interesting early game that we're seeing here. So far it's still these rotations that we're having on the side of Kappa from the mid lane to the bot lane. We have Fealty onto Death on the side of Leoric, which helps him even more to stay on a single lane solo for quite some time. And of course, if you have that happening on this one in particular, then it's really strong, since it will give you that extra shrine up at the top lane. We have seen a lot of different focus here on the talents for Leoric, but in this case it is Fealty onto Death. If you look, for example, on the games that Rocket has played, as an Azebo gets taken out, and that could be the first Dragonite. Rocket played it completely different. They went for the reduced damage on the Wraith Walk, which was also quite strong. And over here, Kessel already with the damage, thanks to the Dragonite, moving in right immediately, and is going to try and take down at least 2 of those towers, and he's actually like doing quite some work. To the bot lane, we're having now Whoopi and Menace starting to move in. Interesting also that Johanna deviated a bit from the standard build and went here into Eternal Retaliation. Very, very interesting. So at this point you reduce the cooldown, and that allows Johanna to really move into those lanes. And if she is starting to take the Condemn out on the minions, which you normally do with Night Tick spawn, you reduce your cooldown a lot and can just use that over and over and over again. I guess with this build we are even going to see Conviction taken on level 7, since it just would make a lot of sense. Or Battle Momentum, but I don't think you need Battle Momentum with this. And yeah, there it is. Conviction being used. A full focus now on the Condemn build. Yeah, very, very interesting touch to the Scape's build. So that will allow him to do a ton of siege damage in this match. We're having for Leoric now the Paralyzing Rage, making sure that that Skeletal Swing is reducing the movement speed down to 60%, which is actually crazy good. Of course, on level 7 for Lily, we're having Shake It Off, one of those talents that is very much standard these days. We have Boomerang taken together with the Gathering Power. Falset, another one of these heroes, it's actually kind of cool when you have him in one of the teams, since he can really adjust to how he's being played. We had just yesterday, I think, one of the Falset players that went into an auto-attack build, even going completely nuts on some of the talents there, and doing a ton of damage to a double warrior setup, focusing on Secret Weapon, even going for Seasoned Marksman on level 1, and it worked so well. But right now, this is a different build that focuses more on the burst damage. You have Boomerang, you have your Gathering Power that you need to build up. So there's a couple of things, of course, that change from build to build here for the hero. And that is one of the cool things about Heroes of the Storm, just in general, because you have so many variations here. It's not like there's one build that is perfect. There are a couple of heroes where you have like a superior build, but most of them still have a few adjustments ready on certain levels where you can let your personal preference shine through. So, of course, for Nazebo, it's a Spider build. Very good rotation here at the top lane, by the way, with Whoopi and Lowell going through the wall. They won't be able to do too much here, maybe take down the well, but they have to move down to the bot lane now to help out here. It's still like that rotation, by the way, that we're seeing, and it looks for a second like Kappa is really attempting to go straight into this one. The Escape, of course, can help out with that reduced cooldown, thanks to his level 4 talent, the Retaliation talent. And there's, again, like one after another, he just gets those Condemns in. Super annoying here. He gives up Laws of Hope, of course, or potential amplified healing, so that's quite off. It's going in again with another Condemn. And yes, well, in this case he gets body blocked and taken out. Entomb taken as the heroic ability on the side of Lowell's Leoric. And we're having now also a Divine Storm. Interesting touch. Normally it's still the shield that we're seeing here, the Divine Shield. But these builds make a lot of sense. Like, first of all, the more I think about this Retaliation talent that we're seeing now on level 4 for Johanna, the more it makes sense. Oh, I'm liking that! The Entomb being used, and down goes Malfurion. That's what you get, you old geezer, for trying to disrupt the Dragonite channel. Kessel moving in now, and the second Dragonite for Fnatic, who are currently more than they are 2 level ahead actually. And here's the level 10 talent now finally also for Kappa. But coming back to my point, I don't really think that Escape would play Eternal Retaliation on level 4 if there was only one healer in the game. I really think that's an adjustment that he makes because he is currently sitting in a double healer setup, so he doesn't have to go for the sustain talent. Herbal Cleanse already kicking in here. Not Herbal Cleanse, but the Shake It Off. Dragonite punt denied. That was a quick one. Whoopi here with a stun as well. I'm actually kind of liking that. That's really fun to actually see that. More CC, more chains, and we've been talking earlier already about how difficult it can be to take targets down against a double heal. If you have this many stuns on the other hand, then it becomes a bit easier. You can really lock a target down and try to drop it, and that's what they're gonna do with Web Blast, isolating probably one of the healers, then Anub'arak initiating with his Burrow Charge, trying to get a stun off. The second one then coming in from his Impale. We have Uther with his own stun, and then even the Divine Storm. So there is ample opportunity for them to really lock a target down and drop it. And of course we already saw 4 kills for them in total now against 0. So job well done up to this point. And Fnatic is really rolling it in this game, aren't they? We have now on level 13 Giant Killer still taken for Falstad, even though he didn't go for an auto attack build. So he still goes for Giant Killer in this case. There's already Crushing Hope now taken. This is an extra damage that you dish out to a target when you get the full Drain Hope off, which is oftentimes the sense. So, well, in this case we have Sypho now moving to the right once again. Tomzi and Conti are still there. Escape also moving back. At the bot lane, we're having Alistar still on his Nazeebo trying to de-push that Siege Giant camp that was in play. And 2 Spell Shields just to be on the safe side on Uther and Anub'arak. We've been talking a lot about the strength that this setup for Kappa has in the late game when we have the level 16 talents kicking in for, especially of course, Nazeebo with his Leaping Spiders, and also Kel'Thas with his Ignite. So Spell Shields are a pretty good idea in that case, and the same goes for the Ice Block, the improved Ice Block that Jaina is using here. Lowell is still split off from the rest of the team up at the top. And currently we're having Kaysil, Main and Wubia as a tri-lane at the bot lane, starting to put some pressure on the forts here. So far so good, I want to say. I mean, at this point everything for Fnatic is going quite well. Kappa is struggling to get the level 13 talent. They are trying to soak up the experience, but they don't want to spread themselves out too thin, just because we're seeing now that push at the bot lane, and they know that this is going to become a bit of a problem, especially since Lowell is already giving Sypho a run for his money at the top lane, pushing that lane in over and over again. That skeleton swing is just very, very good if you want to take down a few minions. The level 16 talent, by the way, if you're playing him on quick match, where you have the double swing, is absolutely awesome. You should definitely give that a go. It's not the strongest talent, don't get me wrong. Like, it's not something that we're going to see in this particular build that Lowell is using. But if you're playing a quick match and you want to have a bit of fun, then you should definitely try it out a couple of times, because it's absolutely hilarious. I'm loving it. Like, the first swing comes in, everybody's saying like, alright, we're good, and then bam, you hit him the second time with that big maze of Leorix, and it is just super funny. Bot lane, a 5-man rotation with a 13 talent. They're moving in already. We're seeing a Shrink Ray being used, a double Ice Block on a Zebo and Malfurion, no sprint in this case, and also for Johanna even more damage, going straight into the Burning Rage with that setup that they're running here. Damage is all that you need. They take the keep, and Leoric, or the fort, and Leoric is already like at the top lane. Lowell is just like saying like, yeah dude, no matter what, I'm gonna get this here. Leoric is like this guy that's smoking weed all day. Like, he is super slow the way that he moves. He's not really like a very agile person. The way that he moves, he doesn't have like a gap close or anything. Like Leoric, if you played Leoric already, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, it always, like, all the heroes in the game have the same movement speed, unless they use some spells or talents, right? But with Leoric, it always feels like he's a little bit slower than everybody else. It's just a bit weird. By the way, I also think it's wrong to put him on a carpet. Like, Lowell, we have to talk a bit. I know that you have a wolf, you own one of those dire wolves. Put Leoric on the dire wolf, that's where he belongs. So, I'm not quite sure what's wrong with you, dude, but yeah, that's just not cool. There's a level 16 talent, and he goes for the renewed swing. I'm loving it, the double swing for Leoric. Well, I guess in this case, you can really use it to just, like, get those waves out of the way. But I'm loving it, and he also has 1 talent for the swing, so thinking about it, it's actually not as bad. But yeah, it's a super fun talent, but level 16 just has a couple of really cool talents for Leoric in general, so it's always a bit of a difficult decision to make here. Benediction, of course, for Uther. A 3-talent lead already. Lowell and his boys are starting to move in now at the bot lane and really putting in the pressure here. But at this point, you can really tell that Kappa is aiming for that 16 talent themselves, but that means they have to get 15 first. And yep, there he drops out. The bird is flying up to the top, and Kaysil is going to like soak up addition experience and keep this lane pushed. This is like one of the main things about the strategy that Fnatic is running, that with this many heroes having the ability to push the lanes back, they always have control of those 2 shrines in the dragon statue. They have great vision on the map. I mean, just look at the top lane, right? Already pressures against the wall over here. The mid lane, this wave is going to be taken out, so it's going to push towards the right side of the map. At the bot lane, we have a very similar one as well. So all of these things considered, the map vision is in the hands of Fnatic, and they are using it right now. They are really using it. Oh, the web blast! They're trying to isolate one of the targets, and they should be able to get this one. Root is already there, but the escape, it was the web blast on Johanna. Entomb being used. And Leoric is moving in, trying to drop them here. Oh, but yeah, with it. Oh, they get her! Even with the double heals, they are able to take down Johanna, one of the tankiest heroes in the game. And Malfurion is now looking a little bit silly with his Tranquility. They used 2 heroic abilities for this one, by the way. Tranquility and Lily's ult both being used, and Malf is now dead as well. I've been talking about it early on. I just don't think that having that double heal is really all that great against such a setup where we have quite a lot of stuns. The only problem, of course, could be the level 16 when Kael'thas is starting to drop those Ignite Flame Strikes, and that's something that they have been working for. But the mid lane is being attacked right now, and yeah, I don't know, like this keep is already in a bit of pressure. Lol putting the damage in, and I mean, let's have a look at those numbers, right? If you're looking at Leoric, he's currently at 100,000 siege damage. 100,000 siege damage. That skeleton swing is insane. The hero damage is at 10,000, which isn't actually too bad if you consider that Jaina only has 9,500 on her own. So this is actually pretty damn nice. Whoopi, Min and Lowell, they are aiming now for those camps, and Leoric is just swinging away. 6 days to Sunday. Up at the top, we had Falstad claiming one of the shrines. The thing is, though, that to the bot lane, we have a 5-man rotation on the side of their opponent, now with a level 16 talent, even with a 3-level disadvantage that they have. They have very strong talents here. Herbal Cleanse, Leaping Spiders, Blessed Hammer, and Ignite. That's a lot of damage that suddenly came onto the board for them. And they're trying to use that now. They are going straight in for another potential kill. Water Elemental being used. Nice! Entomb. Entomb as a setup for Falstad. Johanna down, Malfurion down. And it looks very much like we are seeing Kappa getting wrecked. Cypher! Oh, the Water Elemental. Wow. That was like... Dude, that was not cool. That was not cool, my friend. You could have, like, easily gotten Kael'thas here. Easily. Like, really, really easily. As is, we have a little Dragonite moving in once more with that big battle axe of his, going straight for the keep right now. And yeah, at this point, I mean, Fnatic is looking super strong, aren't they? 9 kills against 0. Kappa struggling here. And this is getting really, really sick now. Down goes the keep. We're having them also move straight down to the bot lane where they are trying to aim for the second one. They didn't even try to go for the core here. They just said, alright, that Dragonite is maybe not strong enough just yet to take the core down. Only does 600 damage with each and every single hit that they dish out there. So in this case, they can't really kill the core just yet. But they are trying to go for Lily and they get her. Lily is dead. The Dragonite's still alive. We have once more Garrett the Gargantuan in play, trying to force them back, and indeed he does. But 10 kills against 0 is it's very obvious how this match is currently going from the point of view of Kappa. Fnatic is doing whatever they can. They are, of course, now claiming every single camp on the map. At least they can if they want to. We are seeing Epic Mount taken and the Divine Hurricane. It's pretty cool to actually see those talents back in business. I mean, the Divine Shield was the standard talent for Uther for the longest time now. Of course, before that happened, it was all about the Divine Storm. But ever since he lost his sprint on level 13, which back in the days, yes, boys and girls, back in the days that was a thing on Uther. You could just sprint into an opponent's team and hit that Divine Storm or Divine Hurricane. Like the old school Alpha and Beta players will still remember that quite fondly, or with a lot of hate, depending on which end of the Divine Storm you were. So bot lane is being now taken, the Bruiser camp that we saw located down here, and it's still a 3-level lead more or less, like 2.5 I want to say. So at this point, it's just like Fnatic rotating through the map, trying to maybe get another Dragon Knight before they go in for the killing blow. Leoric is by now at 126,000 damage against Siege, which is insane. He also soaks quite a fair amount, as you can tell, with 28,000. When we're looking at hero damage, oh, Kel'Thas actually, wow, he got sniped in the bot lane here apparently. That shouldn't have happened. Now they are down one hero, and just like that, Fnatic might be able to finish this. They're going in with a quick web blast, and the Entomb. I love these setups. Web blast into Entomb, into Hinterland blast, and also the Divine Hurricane that they have here. Such a great setup there. So much synergy between these heroes, and they are using it. Oh, the Wrath Walk starting to go in and trying to get the kill, but yeah, so far I didn't get this one. It doesn't really matter. They are just aiming for the core now, and it looks very much like they are going to be successful here. Kasil has to barrel roll away, flies over to put himself or to create some space, and they are easily getting the kill on the core here. And just like that, Fnatic takes game number 1 in the best of 3 series here at the Top of Chart tournament. Well played and well done, and we're gonna go straight into the second game of the series. Fnatic with a win on game number 1. Just like that, Kappa is down 1 game in the best of 3 series, and we're looking now at the second map. Blackheart's Bay is the map, and we have once again very, very odd compositions here. First of all, we have the double tank setup now for Kappa. Exactly what they should have maybe done even already in the first game. They're running a Johanna, and they picked up the Leoric as the second tank. He's very popular as the second tank right now, and they still have very, very strong damage dealers here. A Jaina this time, and still the Nazeebo. The thing is that on the side of Fnatic, we're seeing something completely different. Fnatic actually decided to go into Zeratul, who went through the draft. They also picked up the Illidan, a double melee assassin, and then on the last pick they decided to go into Sylvanas, which, to be honest, surprised me quite a bit. Already I didn't expect them to go into a double melee assassin, but on top of that, they didn't even add something like a Falstad or a Vala to add more damage, especially against the double tank. I personally would have suspected something like one of the 2 heroes that I just mentioned, because of Giant Kill on level 13, so that you can put additional pressure on them. But they go into Sylvanas, so they have a very good lineup when it comes to taking objectives, taking mercenary camps and those pirate camps, and get the coins. But I'm not quite sure what they're going to do in those team fights. Of course, they carry a lot of momentum in these fights, but if they're really going to be able to win them, that's a different matter. The next game coming up right now, and Kappa is going to try to take this, since they of course need a map win if they want to get into the third map. If not, if they lose here once more, then they are out of the tournament already here at the Top of Chart. But we're going to jump into game number 2, Blackheart's Bay, to try and find out who's going to take it here. Game number 2 in the best of 3 series has started, and we are on Blackheart's Bay. Fnatic against Kappa, and to the left side we have a very aggressive, very melee heavy setup for Fnatic, running this with Lol on Illidan, main on Sylvanas as the only ranged hero in the entire setup. Kasil is playing Uther, we have Breeze on an Uberak, and Wooby playing Zeratul. To the right side of the map it is Tomze on Leoric, we have Alistar playing Jaina for Kappa, it's Escape on Johanna, Conti on Malfurion, and Sypho on Nazeebo. Going to be a very interesting game in my opinion, because right now, oh wow, we already have an interesting level 1 talent for Leoric, but well, first of all, it's of course just looking at those talents as well. We have a double regeneration master, and in this case it's really all about the globes that you can get on this map. All of the heroes that we're seeing on the side of Fnatic are very good at taking camps alone, taking camps solo, so they don't even have to engage into any kind of like team battles. A bit of a trap set up over here by Kappa. Fnatic can just simply try and aim for the coins and turn those in and try to maybe get a lead with that, and then fight with the advantage in talents. That's probably going to be the idea behind this. Yeah, well, there we have already Breeze, Kasil, and Wooby. For a second, Illidan was up here trying to see what he can do against this wave, but of course he has to just like soak it up at the towers, and that opens up a bit of a timing window for the boys on Kappa to move in, and immediately rotation down to the bot lane, since they are just saying, okay, we're not going to fight for this chest here, we're going to fight for the bottom one, and they are already putting Tomze in a bit of trouble. Wooby is there, so it's a smart rotation from Fnatic, just saying like, yep, we are going to focus on the bot chest, you can have the one up at the top, and it's going to be an even split in the end. Here's the Mana Thirst, the Skeletal Swing restoring 10 mana per hit, up to 50 mana per enemy hit, of course. So very interesting to see that. I guess like if you put Leoric on the bot lane on this map and you really try to have as much lane sustain as you can possibly get, then in this case going for this talent is probably a smart choice, since he will have never to go back, and I suppose that this is the main idea behind having Leoric here down to the bot lane. In general, he's a great second tank. We haven't really seen him in a solo tank setup just yet, but the meta these days is moving more and more towards having a double tank in the setup anyways. So Tomzy moving back once again, has to, since Rubio and Zeratul was moving in. But the mid lane is being pushed very hard, and you all know how important it is on Blackheart's Fate to really push a few of those structures in before you start with the bombardment and turning those coins in. We already have 5 turned in coins, by the way, by Zeratul, who snuck those coins earlier. Up at the top lane, still Breeze, and yeah, the most important thing really is, at least for me right now, to find out how exactly Fnatic is going to try and play this. Are they going to try and engage into team fights, or are we seeing them just roam the map and try to get as many coins as possible and take it from there, maybe going into a battle once they have a bit of a talent lead, if they're able to establish that at all, of course. So on LoL, we oftentimes see Thrill of Battle, by the way, taking us to level 7 talent on Illidan, just when he's up against a Jaina, just because he says it's much better than going for first aid if you have the reduced cooldown thanks to Thrill of Battle. So we could definitely see that again. Another big benefit that you have with it is that you have your Metamorphosis up a lot faster, so if those team fights happen, Illidan is not that bottleneck hero anymore that everybody has to wait for until he finally gets his heroic up again, because Metamorphosis is a 2-minute cooldown, and that's a long time. Fealty unto Death once again chosen on the side of Leoric. We've already seen that before, and it's being used again. The mid lane completely assailed here by 4 heroes from Kappa. Kappa is doing a great game there. So with this, they have not only a slight advantage in experience, but they're also in a position where they are in a much better spot when it comes to them turning in coins. We have both of the teams now with the Bruiser camp, but it's actually Fnatic with the first coins turned in, and I mean, I told you already before, with Illidan, Zeratul, Sylvanas on the same setup, of course they can go for those camps on their own. I mean, just look at Illidan. He's already busy taking down an additional camp to the left side, and Ruby is moving in with his hero to help him out there. By the way, we have at this point for Johanna, who went into the Eternal Redemption on level 4. Instead, we now see Laws of Hope, because this time it's not a double healer setup that they're running, but it's a solo solo healer setup. So very much the same thing that we've been talking about in the last game, just to explain to you a bit how those different talents really come into play and why they chose those. Now that we have level 7, we have also a couple of things that I want to highlight again. In this case, it's really Thrill of Battle taken by LoL here. It's, by the way, also one of those talents that is sometimes taken when you go into the hunt with Illidan, just because you have a reduced cooldown that allows you to use hunt twice in a prolonged teamfight. But most of the time, at least when we're seeing the talent being played from Fnatic, it's still Metamorphosis. It's more about that level 13 talent that really is important when you're up against not only the Jaina, but also as the other guy, Nazeebo in this case. Mule only on the side of Kappa. We have no Mule. Oh, Leoric actually down at the bot lane, going very deep here with Whoopi and Illidan, so they are going to be able to take this one down, I suppose, but the fort at the top lane is already lost. Breeze didn't die here, so it's 1 kill against 0 so far. Thomas is actually going to be back in a second. He should move back. Yeah, the Wraith Walk already being used, and yeah, he needs to make sure to do that immediately. The thing is, though, that this is a very difficult push to deal with. And yes, in the mid lane there's pressure from Kappa getting the chest and also pushing in. But look at this, this is 3 camps. This is 3 camps that are currently pushing in, and even Tomzy with the skeleton swing might not be able to push this back in time. I'm actually a bit surprised that Fnatic didn't even try and follow this up with at least Sylvanas, put in some pressure. LoL has 12 coins now and turns those in, so that's the additional ghost ship that they've been waiting for. And just with them moving through the map, getting coins and turning those in, they already have a severe lead in talents, or at least in experience. They have Metamorphosis, Wailing Arrow, Wear Blast, Divine Shield, and the Void Prison. And they're now moving in with that level 10 advantage. And jumping in with Illidan, and the silence going straight for the kill against Jaina. The ghost ship is already attacking this one. Web Blast being used. If they get the escape, that would be all that they need here. They're waiting for the Web Blast first. And yep, there it is. Conti is about to die just like that. It's a double kill for Fnatic. and they're also putting some extra damage on this Gabe and Tomzy. So they've been doing exactly what I've been talking about earlier, not engaging into any team fights until they get the advantage with them roaming the map, until they are in a position where they have an extra talent, which in this case was the heroic ability. Then they jump in with the entire team, take the fight, win it, get even more experience. They're 1.5 level ahead, and now they have map control again that they can use to put their heroes to work, take additional camps, take additional coins, and they already have 8 additional ones. We have now on level 10 the March of the Black King taken by Leoric compared to Entomb, which we saw in the last game. We have the Renewal on level 7 for the, well, basically the healing potion that you have. You can also use that while you're in Ghost form so that you revive a bit faster. But it's really a very smart move that we're seeing here on the side of Fnatic, just playing the game with a completely different strategy. They give up those keeps down, or the force down to the bot lane. Ruby has 7 coins, might actually throw in, well, he doesn't have the Void Prison, or I would probably throw it in here. Yeah, Nazeebo, of course, we've been talking about the Mule that we have on his side. The problem with Nazeebo having Mule is that you give up on Gitbin. And by now, it's Kappa starting to push in, and pushing in they are. We have the B back already happening over here as the camp is taken. It's more coins that Fnatic has now, but they lost also a fair amount of structures. They still have 12 coins, and Nazeebo could even use a Void Prism in 2 seconds again. Is he gonna go blink in, maybe use a Void Prism as the setup? Might not even have to, because everybody's just rushing in, and there's the Web Blast. That's exactly what they needed. Void Prism as well. They're gonna go for the Void Prism first. Oh, perfect timing on the release! Nice silence that we saw there, but Zeratul about to die. Divine Shield already hitting him, and he goes straight for Tomzy, but Sylvanas at least is dead. Yeah, team fighting on the same talent, that's a different story, and that's exactly what I've been talking about earlier. Illidan is rooted, goes down, and loses his 3 coins, so just like that, they might as well lose their tank. Breeze is moving away. Don't really think he can make it, though. He is so low, and yeah, he's gonna die. Oh, dodging that swing. Wow, Breeze with the jukes, but, well, in the end, it's a root that drops him. So yeah, that's a bit of a problem here for Fnatic. I mentioned that earlier, like in team fights with a Jaina and a Nazeebo on the other side, they are having a bit of a problem unless they are running an advantage in talents, and they didn't have that this time. So they have been sticking it out with their original strategy, just going for coins, turning in, getting a talent lead, and then starting fights. But this time they were trying to go into a battle, and at some point Kappa simply realizing, well, wait a second, why are we running away here? We can get this. We have the March of the Black King, which does a lot of damage. We have a good setup for it with Condemn and also the stun on the Blessed Shield. So let's turn around and take this fight, which is exactly what they are doing. So yeah, they lost the fight, and it's not literally the fight that they lost, it's the experience and also, of course, the points that they just gave up. Fnatic has to suffer now another bombardment, and that is about to drop the keep in the mid lane. I don't think it's really going to be able to take the keep down. No, it isn't, or it won't be, but it will be close. And Fnatic has to kind of try and turn in again. So yeah, this game suddenly is a lot more open. Tomzy is moving back already. Wooby still has 11 coins. He should not dive too deep. He has 13 by now. He should really start to turn in. All of them can actually move towards Blackhearts and turn this one in. We already have Kappa moving in for this one. Well, yeah, they are probably going to try and deal with this. But can Wooby turn in? No, they have to move back here. There's the stun already. With all those coins, like if those coins end up in the wrong hands, aka the hands of their opponents, then Kappa is going to be a pretty happy Panda team, because, well, that would be amazing for them. 13 coins, that's not only another turn in, that's a perfect situation for them. Wooby is there. Uh-oh, he has the Void Prism, he could use it if need be. Breeze, Burrow charging away the stun against Zeratul and the Wall of Zombies, but he escapes after all. Still the lead in experience for Kappa, and the chests are up on the map once again. So this time it looks like Fnatic is going to go get the 5 coins up at the top lane. The bot lane we're seeing Kappa moving in. Fnatic might even just, like, they go for boss. They go with Illidan for boss up here at the top. He can still use the Thrill of battle for this. And they also, of course, the rest of them rotating in. So they need to get this boss fast, because it looks more and more like Kappa is just trying to snipe one of the keeps, which they could be able to do. Uh-oh, the boss is still at a 3rd HP. Yeah, this is going to be a dead keep. This should be a dead keep. I don't think they can move back in time for this one. Illidan is still there, the only one to finish the boss, but the keep is going to fall, isn't it? Unless they're using the Void Prism. Here comes the turn-in. Turn-in is completed, so they got this one. This is an important one, but the keep is now down. And that's exactly what Kappa wanted to do. Very smart move by them. Level 16 for them now as well. Boss, of course, has been taken. I mean, Illidan has completed that mission, but they are an entire level ahead. Mid lane is going to be attacked by the cannonballs, but the keep is not going to fall to this one. But they need to, of course, move back and try to make sure that they are dealing with the boss. And the only thing that we could have seen here is maybe Zeratul moving in, trying to cancel that, and then wormholing it out again. Problem, of course, is if you get locked down, then you are more or less dead, and that puts you in a very awkward spot. It's a triple spell shield, by the way, that we're seeing on level 13 on the side of Fnatic, and that helps, of course, with all the pressure that comes from Jaina and Azebo. But also now with the 16 talents, the double bombs, we have Wormhole already taken, Whoopi in and out the entire time with the damage, a double Blood for Blood, and Cold Embrace being used. The Mule is a pain in the arse right now. This is definitely an issue, since the top lane, well, this keep is not gonna fall. Over here, we have already, did we see a Web Blast here? No, we didn't. All of the heroics are still ready, but the Mule is doing overtime now to make sure that the keep is not going down. And that's a very big problem for Fnatic. But they can still use the strength of their combo. They can still go for the camps, soloing the camps over and over again, getting more coins. They have 14 coins again. That's nearly a turn-in that they have. And they should actually try to turn in. Escape has 9 coins on his own, so that's also something to be considered here. Illidan is just like stealing more camps away. This time the one down here at the bottom. That means that Fnatic by now has an entire turn-in again. The Mule, by the way, nearly fully healing up the keep in the mid lane. Oh, Sypho eating some damage here. Free damage for Whoopi. Whereas Illidan, he's already moving away. And now they can simply go for the turn-in. I'm actually like very surprised that they didn't do that. But we still have 2 heroes ready for Kappa to prevent it. So, it's a very tactical game that we see. It's a very tactical game in the sense that the teams are trying to rotate against each other, trying to push in the lanes when they know that the team is doing something else. Boss taken, countered by a kill on the keep. Boss was not able to deliver a keep to them. Once again, the move up into the mid lane. The turn-in might not be completed. Breeze doesn't get it in. Nope, there's the shield clear just in time. Exactly what they got, and they're starting to rotate in there once as well. So we have Breeze, KSL, Main, and Lowell rotating over. They want a team fight now. It's the same level that they have, 17 versus 17. Leoric, by the way, has an imposing presence here, and I can tell you why, because we have 2 melee assassins. Why wouldn't you get imposing presence? That's like perfect for you. Breeze is really in trouble. Nice Void Prism in the backline here. Whoopi jumping away with the Divine Shield, going back in again, and it looks like Leoric at least is gonna drop, but Whoopi might die as well. Leoric down, Zeratul as well though, and Lowell is very low. He doesn't get the kill against Sypho, and Breeze is trying to go deep for this one, but Sypho dodges him. All the coins ending up in the hands of Kappa. 4 heroes dead, and just like that, we're having Kappa with an opportunity to maybe even take the game. They currently have so many coins, and they already turned in. So even with this turn-in, they have another 12 coins in their hands, but they are just simply going to go for the kill now. It's another 20 seconds until Zeratul is back, and that is ample time to just go straight for the core here. The composition that Fnatic was using here not really working out for them in the end. As I mentioned before, team fighting not really going to be their specialty here, and they tried that several times, and every single time they tried, they failed. It was a comp that was heavily focused on the objectives, and in this case, Kappa just with a better draft, and they are running it very well. So we are going to see map number 3 between these 2 teams at the Top of Shot tournament. Yeah, Fnatic having that team fight problem. At the beginning it actually looked really good for them. They just took the objectives, they took the coins, they took the camps, they got a lead, they hit level 10 faster, started a fight where they said, hey, we have the extra talent, so let's just go straight for it. They won that fight handily, and then they got an even bigger advantage. But then later on in the game, they took 2 team fights, they just didn't have the damage any longer. They were taken out there, and just like that, they lost their grip on the map, lost Blackheart's Bay, and now the series is tied. Kappa has an opportunity to take Fnatic down, and Fnatic went into Haunted Mines as the last map. So a very early game heavy map that we are now seeing. A lot of heroes banned out here that are very strong in the early game. Zagara, for example. Also Leoric, who is not too bad on this map, and especially down in the mines, can with a simple skeleton swing simply get one entire skull camp. But yeah, we have a pretty interesting setup once more, since we're also running a Zeratul now on the side of Kappa. But for Fnatic, we're seeing a Tacita to counteract him, at least to a certain extent. Even Karrigan being banned out, since Fnatic played Karrigan on this map in the WCA qualifier, and Whoopi is a very, very good Karrigan player here. Fnatic in this case now with the Muradin, once again they are running the Uther, and in regards to the damage, they are having a Vala in this case, and also another melee assassin. They're running this with an Illidan once again. So we have the tie in the series. This map is going to decide who advances to the semi-final. Let's find out together which team will be able to pull that off. Game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. We are starting with our last match of the day here in the series between Fnatic and Kappa. And to the left side of the map we have Lowell on Illidan, Mena on Vala, Whoopi on Uther for Fnatic, Breeze on Muradin, and Kesil on Tacita. We are on Haunted Mines, and to the right side it is Kappa with Alistar playing Jaina, Descape on Johanna, Conti on Rhaegar. We have Sypho on Zeratul, and Tomzi playing Nazeebo. So a third map in this series, and I'm liking this a lot. Once again, the teams are going to move up to the top, trying to take their position here. The builds that we are seeing are already pretty clear. We're seeing Vala with an arrow build in this case. Muradin is going for Reverberation against Zeratul in particular, and with Tacita in the team to counter out Zeratul, and also of course give vision on the map. Good lane presence, can solo a lane. We have Kesil in a very good spot here for his team, trying to play that that utility hero, if you so want. Two of the teams, or two of the heroes, not taking the level 1 talent just yet. Actually, in this case, we already have to the right side the talent taken. It's actually Zeratul with a rapid displacement, which is interesting. And it's once again the 4 heroes up at the bot lane. They were waiting a bit, since we have with especially, like, the red team currently can push those lanes a bit faster than the blue team, and that's why we're seeing a bit of a switch, why Fnatic was waiting to see where exactly those 4 heroes would be for Kappa, because with the Nazeebo and with the Jaina there, you can really burst those towers down pretty fast, and the Escape, of course, with the Night Take spawn can also work on the waves really easily. So that's exactly why they were decided to just simply rotate towards the lane to defend that, and deviated a bit from the normal meta where you want to push your own lane, but they realized early on our opponent has the stronger push set up, so just move in and do exactly that. At this point we have Descape, Conti and Tomzi as well as Alistar already in position to push that lane back. They were soaking a bit of the ammunition on those towers. We have also Reach taken on Uther, so that he has an opportunity to heal his allies from a bit farther away. There we go, a very aggressive battle once again. We have everybody jumping in, especially Muradin and Illidan going for Tomzi, and the kill against Nazeebo. Fnatic with an early kill, very well done. The Psy infusion on Tacita. It makes sense to not go for Conjurer's Pursuit here, but for Psy infusion, since of course you're not going to get too many of those globes, you will spend a fair amount of time in the mines, and this is a very fast-paced map. So over here, another attempted kill, this time against Jaina. Lowell went deep with this one, and this is one of the reasons why Whoopi went for Reach, because he realizes that in this case, of course, Illidan is going to be the one that jumps in. And just like that, he needs to have that extra range, because if he doesn't have that, then Illidan might be just a bit outside of the healing range and then die. So they're playing a bit of a 2-arc style here, named after a North American team that got kind of famous in the alpha for just going into the mines, not trying to fight at all, but simply ran around and tried to collect skulls. And that's what Fnatic is currently doing as well. Both of the teams closing in on level 4 now, and so far Fnatic has 20 skulls, which is a pretty solid amount. Whoopi is already up at the top. The team's really only going for the skulls, and it's a very, like, this is what you want to do. If you suddenly lose time in a 4 versus 5 fight, for example, that extra hero can just like roam the map and get the skulls in, and that's exactly why both of the teams are currently trying to go for the objective first in this case. Once again, oh, good stun, a really good stun actually against Johanna, using the unstoppable trait already, going for the Iron Skin here, and bam, completely body blocked and taken out And at this point it looks like Breeze is actually trying to soak a bit of experience, and he does it well. Moves in at the perfect time, even uses a Thunderclap here to help those towers a bit. So Fnatic with very solid performance already early on in the game here, not losing anything in regards to experience, having a solid lead in that regard, but moving away now since they realize that Kappa is currently on their way to intercept them at the boss. We have the Feral Heart taken for Rehgar, not going into Shadow Wolf after the mana reduction talent on level 1. Could have gone into both of those with this level 1 setup. But again, Mena and Fnatic trying to fight here. In comes Breeze, good stuns against Jaina, very good indeed, taking her out, and it looks like Tomzy without an escape is not going to have a chance to survive here either. This is another double kill that we're seeing for Fnatic, and just like that they can take down this boss and get the extra skulls. They already have 41 against 41, so they will have the stronger boss here, and that's already a very good start for them into the game, where we now have the mental acuity taken on Tassadar so that he gets the cooldown reduction on his Oracle, which will make, of course, it even a bit more difficult for Zeratul to sneak up on the opponents here. So Conti already in his position up at the top lane. Mena is trying to hold the lane here. The teams are now, since the bosses are going to appear, moving over to the Siege Giant camps. It's really important when you cap them, so you have to wait a little bit with that. And of course level 7 is going to be the next important talent, since it's going to drop an additional talent into the hand of the teams. Over here, taking that out and moving outside, just waiting a little bit. Oh wow, we have them actually taken already. Now that's a mistake. I have no idea why they did that. That must have been a bit of a brain fart by one of the players here. Very surprising to see that. There was another game actually a few days ago where we saw the same thing. Now that the Ball Golem is over here, Lowell caps the camp, and you're going to see a difference in position in just a second. Look at this. These two Siege Giants are not going to do jack shit. They're not going to do anything here. They are not helping with the defense at all. They're completely useless. And now just compare what happens up here. Siege Giants behind the wall attacking the boss. That's exactly what you want. So this is one of those reasons why you have that timing with the Siege Giant camp. Down here now, this boss is going to do a fair amount of damage. I mean, it's already the stronger boss as is, but that defense is going to be so much more difficult. Of course, we're having now 4 heroes dedicating their time to taking this one out. Level 7 Talon has already dropped into the hands of Fnatic a long time ago. The thrill of battle on Illidan again, for the reasons mentioned. If you're going up against that mage hero setup with the Jaina and the Zebo, you want to have that level 13 talent ready up again. That's why level 4 goes first aid here. Up at the top lane now, the boss is moving through, the Siege Giant still helping out, and yeah, just like that, they're able to get a bit of a better position down here. The structure already losing a few of the hit points. The Zebo, by the way, waiting with his heroic ability, not with the heroic, actually with the level 7 talent in this case, going for Gitbin because he saw that Static Charge was taken on Tassadar. That's actually a very interesting twist that we just saw there. Let's talk about that in a second. First of all, it was an attempt to go for the Bruiser camp, but both of the teams were aiming for it, so we might see one of those team fights here. It's a stat advantage that we're seeing at this point for Fnatic. Can they really use it? Sin's exposed, by the way, taken on escape, putting that in. You can already see exactly the mark upon all those heroes, but Lowell is the one to cap the knight. Okay, so Nazeeba was waiting with the level 7 talent before he headed into Gitbin, and why is that? The reason why he did not go for Mule is because he was waiting for Tassadar to make his move first, and Tassadar decided that he wants to have the additional damage with Static Charge and doesn't really care too much about taking Mule. So Nazeebo just basically said, well, if you take Static Charge, if I go into Mule, we might be able to just heal up those forts, but I'm going to lose out on a lot of damage. You have that, so if you want to win those team fights, I guess I have to counter what you currently did and need to go for my damage talent as well. And that's the thought process that we just saw between Zeratul and Tassadar here. Sorry, Tassadar and Nazeebo, of course. So that worked out quite well. We have on both sides, of course, the cleanse taken. And well, for now, it's still a slight lead for Fnatic. But to be honest with you, it's not a big difference anymore. If you consider that there's 4 kills against 0, then the teams are actually not that far away from each other. I mean, right now, it's just like a tiny lead. They hit level 10 faster though, and that tiny lead that I just mentioned could be all that matters in the end, because right now there's another tower that just dies. Level 10 is going to be in their hands in just a second. Down here, 2 of the minions go down, and they are so close to level 10 right now. One more creep, and there it is. They have the heroics, and now this could be a devastating battle for Team Kappa. They are moving into the mines after all. They are close to the level 10 now as well. Breeze is already getting a few of the skulls and is rotating away immediately. Level 10 is now finally ready as well for Kappa, but they already lost 30 of the skulls. They lost 38, and they're jumping in right over here. Tassadar isn't with the team just yet, but, well, now we have all of the heroes ready for Kappa as suddenly Zeratul moves in. Good bubble in the backline, especially getting the healer here. That was an important one. They're, of course, going to try and get the first kill in, but Gary the Gargantuan was already doing a fair amount of damage as well, as now Fnatic is moving in again with Vala getting another arrow in, and the multi-shot, putting damage on all of the heroes. Nice blast shield. Oh my god, that rain vengeance! That rain of vengeance in the last second there. Great positioning. That was perfect positioning on the side of Vala here. Very good stun that we just saw, and that dropped 2 heroes. That dropped Johanna, and it also dropped, in this case, of course, then Jaina. Mene with great positioning here. He's an excellent melee assassin. He is one of those quiet guys, but it's the quiet ones that are dangerous, as you already know. And he's moving in there again against 2. He's holding the line here at the fort. Make sure that they get the experience. Up at the top, Kaesel is doing very much the same thing, and that of course gives now Muradin and Illidan an opportunity down at the bot lane to do their thing here. But they might be in a bit of trouble as Zeratul is there. Well, they get all of the skulls, but they might die. We have the rotation coming in from Whoopi. Metamorphosis already chosen, and they're going deep immediately. The rest of the team already rotated over. Fnatic with very good team coordination. Divine Shield on Lowell with his Illidan. They needed to move back. Gary is back to business. So is the Water Elemental. A lot of summonings here for Kappa. They're trying to chase them down now. Mane moving away with a quick vault, but Lowell is extremely exposed here and is getting dropped. So 1 hero down, and also a kill against Uther in this case. The rest of them moves away, but it's a very strong golem that they have. 16 skulls against 84, but still a 5 versus 4 situation for a few more seconds. Down here, the boss is starting to do this thing. The teams are, of course, still on level 11, heading into level 12 now. But still a very solid position for Fnatic after all. I mean, up here at the top, you can see that Tomze is trying to push this in a bit, but Breeze is already there. So it's just the defense that happens for now, and it's just such a massive golem that they had here. It's, of course, a bit unfortunate for Fnatic that they couldn't push with their own golem at the bot lane. Usually, you want to push with a stronger golem. Like, the team with a stronger golem is the one that tries to push, but right now, as you can see, they're having this one taking down the fort and the tower on its own, moving towards the wall. So it's going to be a better position for Fnatic either way. Just by a tiny little bit, but it is going to be better. They move into the mid lane to just straight the camp. They realize it's a bit too late to help the golem out over here after they had 5 players back on the board. Up to the top. Tassadar didn't really need any help, so in this case he just shielded, kept the keep alive. It's gonna fall soon enough. I mean, we are probably gonna see Kappa send one of their heroes over there to take it down. It's probably gonna be Zeratul, but at least they got the camp here now too, got that away from the map, and also have their own golem in a better position down here at the bot lane. Now that the level 13 talents are on the board for Fnatic, they're actually also stealing the Siege Giant camp away, because they say, hey, what are they gonna do? Fight us with a talent disadvantage? That's not gonna happen. They have already now the 6th Stems talent for the additional shield for evasion, and that's where Thrill of Battle really unfolds its strength, when you have those 2 talents, because you get a huge cooldown reduction on that, and then you can use your shield, and Illidan is going to have a much better time from here on out against Nazeebo and Jaina. We're also seeing Vala going into the shield talent here, with a spell shield being used. Another great talent against these heroes. And for Uther, it's really all about the Shrink Ray, because that helps him to keep Zeratul in check in those fights. Zeratul, by the way, going of course for the wormhole here. Not really a big surprise there. Healing Surge for Rhaegar for the extra heal. That's also an important one. And we're seeing an improved Ice Block for Jaina, who knows right from the start that she's going to be one of those priority targets for especially Illidan, who proved that several times now in these fights already. Up to the top lane, Escape, Conti and Tomze still in position there, and moving down to the bot lane, we still have Zeratul sitting in position there to wait if he can maybe sneak in, but also of course it's about the experience that he's currently trying to get. And that is the cue for Fnatic to rotate to the top. They're having another Siege Giant camp that is pushing. It's 28 additional seconds until we are seeing the mines open up again. And Fnatic, they seem to be rotating over for more vision. Uh-oh, Sypho. No, okay. Are they going to jump in? They're thinking about it. It could be another battle that we're seeing here in just a second, but so far the teams are very dedicated towards the mines and the objectives. And if you're first in the mines, it means you can trap your opponent here. That's exactly what's currently happening there. They don't really want to move in just yet. They don't know how to deal with this. Move in now, but there is a bit of a trap. Everybody moving in, and here comes the Storm Bolts. Water Elemental is already out to play. Rain of Vengeance! And the kill against Rhaegar. And just like that, the healer is gone. And without the healer, you can't really take a fight, so they just do what they have to do. They move up into the top lane, they take one of the forts, and they might actually go for keep here. They definitely should threaten it, so that Fnatic is forced to portal back. And, well, the first few heroes should do that. I'm a little bit surprised that it doesn't happen yet. Who's moving back? It looks like Illidan is going to move back, but this is a pretty strong push, and that keep might fall. It's nearly going to be 100 Skarner Golem on the other hand, and that's a big problem. But Fnatic moved back too late. They moved back too late. That's too much damage. That's way too much damage. That is, the keep is halfway down in H. Oh, that Void Prison was actually not too bad at all. Breeze, Whoopi, and Mena ignore it completely on the other hand. They're still like, yeah, well, Illidan and Kaysil, they can make their way over here in a bit. Oh, Illidan closing the distance. Metamorphosis. Lowell dropping Johanna now. That was well played. They could go into the mines again, and they indeed do. They want to have 100% golem. They want to get the 100 skulls. But this one is very low. It might actually fall to the golem over here. It's going to be, I mean, this is going to be a tiny-ass golem, right? So it's not going to do a thing, or it shouldn't. But still, they might lose this one after all, if there is a hero or two following it up with it. Down to the bot lane now, more skulls already taken. Fnatic has only 3 heroes down here. We have Uther closing the distance now, and that will be the 4th one to join up with them. As up at the top lane, it's still Vala in position. And apparently, Kappa is trying to move in again against the keep and drop it. This golem is going to be massively strong. Mena is very much alone here. He can't engage too hard. Tomzi moves in, drops Scary the Gargantuan, and they're going to lose the keep. Kappa with very nice moves. I'm liking this. I'm really liking the choices that they make. They are a bit behind and they know it, so they're trying to take it, but they move back too late. They are a bit too greedy. They overstay their welcome. And what started as a very good choice and a very good attempt to drop this could end in disaster. They lose Jaina. They are about to lose Nazeebo, and just like that, 2 of their biggest damage dealers are gone. 100 Skull Golem is going to make his way over to the core, and we have now a 5 versus 3 situation for Fnatic. Ah, Kappa. A good idea, but poor execution, and this could be the game. This could be the end of it. I mean, we still wait 10 seconds now for Jaina. That means she can't help with the defense of the keep. The keep by then is probably already gonna fall. We're having Uther, by the way, still up at the top lane here, making his way down. This keep also gone. The boss still doing a bit of work, but down here it's still 100 Skull Golem that is trying to just ravage the core now. They are moving in. And the longer you can occupy your opponent, or you can make sure that they're occupied in a team fight, the more damage this golem is going to dish out. And that's exactly what Fnatic is currently banking their hopes on. They are rushing in again. Kaysil needs to move away here and does so. There is that Void Prison. Not quite sure if that Void Prison wouldn't have been better on the core, but the golem is captured with this one as well. Breeze still applying additional damage, and they're losing hero after hero. 2 already down, but the boss is dropping that core. 40% now. Down goes Muradin, but it does not matter. This boss is gonna end the game. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 2-1 victory for Fnatic. The GG dropped, and this is it as Fnatic advances to the semi-final of the Top Chat tournament after taking down Kappa Team with a 2-1 in this best of 3. Haunted Mines taken by Fnatic. They win the best of 3 series. They take down Kappa Team with a 2-1. Very solid performance here, especially on this map now in particular. Kappa had very decent rotations actually on the map, but in a few of these they just stayed a bit too long, and then on the way back they got caught and taken out. So Fnatic really using the advantages that they had, and they took the game, and therefore also the win in the best of 3 series. Very well played by them, so congratulations to Fnatic, still going strong here in the European scene, and of course we will see them again in the semi-final. I hope that you guys enjoyed the series with some really cool compositions that we had there, and also very nice maps that were played this time. If you enjoyed the series, give the video a thumbs up on YouTube. I hope that you already subscribed to the channel, and if not, then hit that button. Why haven't you yet? And of course I'm going to see you guys with more content tomorrow. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in today, and see you boys next time. Have a good night, and bye bye.